Hey there, my Stampin' friends. Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. So this is one of our December fun fold projects. We've been doing these all year long, so I'm glad you're still sticking with me and watching the fun folds and having fun doing your practice kits and then incorporating them into your crafting. So today we're doing one called the Step Down Accordion Fold, and I hope I've simplified it by the way I'm going to show you that I'm doing it. Some demonstrators would have you take a piece of cardstock and score it and then cut in all these sections. We're actually going to make it with 3 separate sections and put them back together. So I'll take you through all the steps of cutting all the pieces and then we'll build the card. Okay, so if you are part of the class, you've received your template, your practice kit, and your instructions, and now you're watching the video. So you can either follow along and pause me as you go, or you can watch the whole thing and then go back and do your practice kit. Whichever works best for you. Alright, so we're going to be crafting with Masterfully Made, and I picked Fresh Freesia as my card base color. So we're going to first start by cutting all the card sections. So like I said, there are 3 sections, and you can either look at your template for the measures or you can look on your tutorial for your measures. So the first piece I need is going to be it says 5.5 by 4 1/4, a typical quarter sheet of cardstock. Okay, so 5.5, and then I'm going to turn it and cut it at 4 1/4. Pull this down a little. Okay, 4 1/4. So that's our large section in the back. Okay. Then I need the middle section, and it says 4.5 by 3 3/4 for the base. So I'm going to use the other half of mine for this one. First I'm going to cut it at 3 3/4. Then I'm going to turn it and go at 4.5. Okay, so there's my second section. Okay, now my third section is going to be 3.5 by 2 3/4. So 3.5, 3.5. Okay, 3.5 by 2 3/4. Okay, so those are my 3 sections of base cardstock. Now some of these need to be scored as well. So they're going to go together in this direction. It says score at 1/2 inch. Okay, so this is 3.5 inches total. Okay, but 1/2 inch is going to get scored and built into the next section. So each of these two, the front section and the middle section, need to be scored at 1/2 inch. So I'm just putting my cardstock back in. I'm using this side of my measure for my 1/2 inch. I'm just going to score that piece. So I make a little tab. Okay, I'm making a little tab for that. And then I'm going to put this one in and do the same thing, 1/2 inch. Okay, so I have another tab for construction purposes. Okay. So now we're going to cut our DSP panels. So if you do the math, all these sections, this is 4 inches, 3 inches, 2 inches, and then if you put one here, it's 3 inches. So 3 and 3 and 6, and 4 is 10, and 2 is 12. So if you have a 12-inch piece of designer series paper, you could use the whole length of it to fill out all of your sections, and that's the way I'm going to cut it today. So our biggest one is, well, let's do the up and down first. So we need 4 inches here. So let me open up my cutter so I can measure all the way to the 12. So the first big section is 4 inches. So I'm going to start at 12 inches, push it down to 8 inches, because that's going to give me 4 inches cut off the end. 8 inches. And I'm going to cut, not score. Cut that one. Okay, then the next one is 3 inches. So now I'm going to go from 8 down to 5. Right, 8 minus 5 is 3, so my middle section is 3. My next section is 2, so I'm going to go from 5 to 3. And that's going to give me a 2-inch piece, and then my last one will be the 3 inches for the front. Now, let's go in reverse. So the last one I cut is this one. This one's going to be 4 1/4 inches tall. So I'm going to turn it this way and go with 4 1/4 for that section there. Now the front one is my 2-inch piece. Okay, my 2-inch piece. Now I can decide, do I want my pieces to line up? I could always turn this one over when I actually put them on if I wanted them to kind of go on opposite sides. Or I could have it like that. I think I'm going to go like that so that the kind of ripped, torn images are kind of in sync. So this one I need at 3 1/4. Okay, so 3 1/4 for the front. Now the inside is 4 1/4 as well, and this one's nice and muted so I can stamp right on that if I wanted to. So 4 1/4 for there. Then this is my big piece for the middle. Now it was cut like this, right? It was cut like this, so I could do it like that, or again I could turn it over if I want kind of this frayed edge on the outside. So kind of look at it before you cut it. I can go like that, or I can go like this. I think, tough choice. I think I want to go like that. So I'm going to go 4 inches. No, I'm not going to go 4 inches. I'm going to go 5 1/4 inches. Yikes, that would have been a big mistake. Alright, 5 1/4 inches. Okay, so I started with a 6 by 12 piece, and this are all the pieces of DSP I've got left, right? Which I could do another card project with those, or I could use them as trim inside this one. We'll see how it all goes together. So there are all the parts and pieces cut for this card. Okay, so now we're going to go through the process of putting it together. All right, so let me give my tabs here a good crease with the bone folder. I want everything to be nice and crisp when we're constructing. So this one's going to go like this. The tab's going to be on the left-hand side. And then this one's going to be like this with the tab on the right-hand side. Okay? And then these are our pieces that are going to go into our project. Just like that. So now what I'm going to suggest is that you put the middle section on and then the DSP. Okay, and then put your front tab on and then the DSP. So let's do all the tab work first. Okay, so get your adhesive. Now you might want to use tear and tape. You can use liquid. You can use the red double-sided sticky tape. Whatever adhesive you are comfortable using is what I want you to use. I am using liquid adhesive. So I put it on my tab. My tab's going on my left-hand side, and I want to line it up. I'm going to turn this sideways. I'm going to line it up with the bottom and the edge. Okay, the bottom and the edge. You want your bottoms lined up so that when you stand your card up, it's got a nice even footing, and you want to line up with the edge so that it'll fit inside of your envelope. So just press that down to adhere it. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, but we're repeating it with the smaller tab, and this one's going to get put on the right hand side. Okay, and again I'm going to turn it this way. Now I'm going to line up my bottom and my edge as best I can and hold that down. I got a little extra glue there. I'm just going to get that off. Alright, press and hold for a minute. Okay, so now we can put on our DSP panels. Okay, now any of these DSP panels could be swapped out for neutral cardstock, right? Certainly be swapped out for neutral cardstock. But if you want to have lots of DSP, then use your DSP. Especially if you have a DSP like the middle one turned out here, where it was very muted print, you can stamp right over the top of that, or write a message right over the top of that. Okay, so there's that one. My inside one is this piece here. Remember, a little bit of glue will do the job. You don't have to get too much adhesive on there. And you see all my panels are stepped in from my edges, so everything gets framed up inside that base card. Okay, and then I'm just going to turn it over and do this piece here. Just going to remind myself that's the way I wanted it. Okay. So there we go. That's how you put together this stepped down accordion fold with 3 sections. Okay, with 3 sections. So a little bit easier than doing cutting and scoring and cutting with your scissors. I thought just make it 3 sections and put them together with hinges. So there we go. All right, now I'm just going to finish this off for you real quick. I'm going to use my stamps from In the Moment. I like this stamp set a lot. And I'm going to use, I picked Blackberry Bliss because I wanted something a little darker than the Fresh Freesia to stamp with, and I didn't really want to use Berry Burst, which is this color, so Blackberry Bliss kind of goes with the purples and the pink. I already die cut a circle with my Stylish Shapes dies, and I'm going to put the one that says sometimes the most productive thing you can do is relax, which seems to be the motto around here at my house since Brian's out on disability. So we're learning to relax and not stress so much. So we're going to put this on the front. So it's going to go on the front, and then my inside one I'm going to stamp right to my DSP. And this one says, "You're always so good to others, be good to yourself too." I'm just going to stamp that one directly to my DSP on that center section. Nice and simple. And then I'm just going to pop this front one up on a couple of dimensionals. And my project will be done and ready to go when I need to send a card. Who needs to learn the same lesson I'm learning, right? Okay, so there you go. Now when you get done, you might want to go in and do your creases one more time. Just make sure that they're nice and crisp so your card stays closed. And this one's fun too because here it is and all the papers go together. But if your person wants to stand it up, okay, it would stand up like that, so it could stand on a mantle or a table or whatever. And what they're going to see is all the pretty paper and not necessarily all the text or writing inside. So it's a really nice display card. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed it when you watched the video. Leave me a comment. Tell me that you're working on this one. Or if you want to join my class, follow my links below and contact me, and I'm happy to get you started making cards with the rest of us. All right, that's it for today, and do some fun stamping. I'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye.